Hello humans, Master Dinnerflex here, bringing you low quality content you deserve, and today I'll be going over the new Master Rule Revision deck I like to call Clownblade. Now, those of you who have been in the game for a decent while now, you'll actually know what this deck is. Clownblade was around 2015. And the whole premise of the deck was to use Trick Clown with 1,000 Blades over and over again to get an XC every single turn. Now, the TCG never truly got it at full power because the time we got Trick Clown, they banned Lavalval Chain. And we also didn't have Infinity until after this deck got power crept. But the thing about this deck is it's actually just kind of insane. The whole purpose of the deck is just spam XCs, and because you're doing it with just a lot of, you're not devoting your deck to a whole bunch of monsters, you can actually play trap cards. And that's what I think the real power of this deck has always been. It's never been about the boards it made. It's been about the boards it's made, and then how it's done that while also setting back row. So I'm going to go ahead and get straight into it. We got triple Trick Clown, whole premise of the deck. Triple Hat Tricker. Now, this might seem a bit much, but it actually isn't in this deck. It's a spellcaster, so it's energized with Gigabyte. It's very good at going second and going first as long as you just summon 2 monsters. It's another body. This card's pretty insane. And then we got double Juggler. Once this goes to 3, this will be at 3. But this is honestly probably the worst of these 3 cards, which is kind of funny. And that's mainly because why it was good back then was not really because it was a way to summon itself. It was more of an attack stopper. That was one of its real values back then. But, it's a normal summon. And unless it's searching Hat Tricker, it only gets you another normal summon. So, it's how do I put it? It really only works with Hat Tricker, which is why Hat Tricker is at 3. But again, being an attack stopper still comes up a lot. So, yeah, 2 of this. Once it goes to 3, it'll be at 3. Triple Chocolate Magician Girl. If you haven't noticed, Trick Clown and Damage Juggler are normal summons. So having a way to dump them out of your hand while at the same time being a water spellcaster is nice. But also its last effect, where it can't be attacked effectively, is also pretty nice. But yeah, Triple Chocolate Magician Girl, triple Gigabyte, water that summons itself when you control a spellcaster seems pretty good. Then we got triple Photon Thrasher. This card is absolutely absurd. Not to the merit, well, actually to the merit of what it does alone on the field. There were multiple occasions where I just summoned a Photon Thrasher and just attacked over a stun monster and then made my plays. That. Now that XEs typically don't have a huge amount of attack, so sometimes you can just, my opponent summoned a giant hand in testing, and I just summoned Thrasher, attacked over it. There are stun XEs don't typically have a lot of attack, so this guy can get over it. But him being a light and a searchable warrior is what makes him even more insane, because there's an XE I make a lot, and I'll show you soon. And then we got Goblinenberg. There's another Rota target that you can search that you can normal summon. But not only can you normal summon it, it actually puts an additional normal summon that would be a normal summon on the field. So this is very good. And then 1,000 Blades. What's pretty focused the deck around. The funny thing is, I rarely ever resolve this card. The only time you resolve it is when you see it. If you have Foolish Burial, unless you already have Trick Clown, you're sending Trick Clown or Damage Juggler. So it's you rarely actually resolve this card. But when you do, it's just instead of one body, you're getting 2 bodies, which is what's really important. These last 2 monsters I'm not very sure of. This one's pretty terrible because it's only good when your hand's good. Yeah, it's a level 4 water for Bahamut Shark, but your hand, like I said, your hand already has to be good for this to be good. This one I don't like, but I feel like there's not much else it could be. I want something that makes Gigabyte a floater, and the whole purpose of it is it's also a 4th non-searchable Gigabyte. But it could be the fire one or the wind one, but the earth one actually has like an effect to bring itself back very slowly. So because of that, I think it's probably the best one of the other 3, not Gigabyte. It also turns Gigabyte into a floater, I guess. Then we got triple instant fusion, pretty obvious. Double cosmic cyclone. This could be anything, but I couldn't think of anything else. 1 Rhoda to search your warriors, 1 Foolish to dump your shit, and then we got 1 Reborn and 1 Upstart. Pretty basic spells. Then we got triple impermanence, triple solemn judgment, which is what I liked about this deck to begin with, is not the fact that it could spam a bunch of XEs, but the fact that it could spam a bunch of XEs and then set back row. Like, that is truly powerful, and it's truly something we've been missing from the previous, from the current Master Rule, I should say, is the fact that because you need to make Link monsters, you have to play as many monsters as possible that just summon themselves. So you can't actually play, like, anything not monsters or way to get to monsters or way to summon monsters. And that was really boring. Like, if you think about it, like, all the warrior decks that needed all these cards to Link summon, their deck effectively was all warriors and then a handful of equip spells. Like, all their spells got to warriors. All their traps were monsters. Their monsters, they had a whole bunch of them. Like, you needed to spam monsters, and while the same thing can be true here, you don't need to have your whole deck devoted to it, because as long as you make 1 XE and then set a few traps, you'll be good till next turn. Like, this deck's very, like, it's not card advantage based. It's just like, as soon as you summon, as soon as you have enough ways to stun your opponent, you're probably just gonna win, because they need to kill you that way immediately. Otherwise, you're just gonna snowball them out. But yeah, traps, best thing ever, and Solemn Judgment, it's the best trap ever. So let's go with that. Double Lost Win. This card's actually insane. I should probably actually play this in more decks. This card's awesome. Then we got 1 Bottomless and Floodgate, not because they're traps or because I think they're good, but because I play Rafflesia. And for the extra deck, the instant fusion target, Bahamut Shark with Toad. Now this thing actually has an effect in here too, the fusion, because the fact that you can change its attribute means you can either keep it water to make Bahamut, or you can make this guy, which this is a card I make all the time. Honestly, more games than Toad. And it's just like a very miniature morphing jar. Which you might not think does a lot, but your deck is full of floaters, so it does a lot. And when you put yourself down to 1 card in hand, that's when you toss it, and that's when you go insane. And this is also some of the only times I use Thousand Blades is I summon Photon Thrasher, which is the guy I was talking about for Photon Thrasher. I summon Photon Thrasher, normal summon Clown, set my hand until the only card in my hand is Thousand Blades, detach the Trick Clown, discard my hand, draw 2 cards, Clown triggers, summons itself, Blade triggers, summons itself. Like, that's the main utility I have with this card, and this card's actually just absurd. I love this card. But anyways, King of the Pharaoh-Lymphs, Trapeze Magician is also pretty insane. Rafflesia is pretty good. Your hand has to be super duper nuts to make this, or Giant Hand. Either that or your hand is really bad and you can only make 1 XE. But if you're in those situations, that's what they're for. Then we got Abyss Dweller. Your deck's full of waters too, so it actually gets a boost, which is nice. Then we got Exciton Knight, which is awesome. Castel, it attaches 2 materials, so it can let your these 2 float into each other again. Then we got Tornado Dragon, Daigusto Emerald, Utopic Future, and then Super Duper Utopic Future. This card's also pretty fucking absurd. It's another negate that is also a Beals. And, like, when you summon it, it has 3 materials. So for like 3 turns, your opponent just gives you monsters after you negate them. And because we're in Master Rule Revision, everyone's trying out rank 4 decks, so you steal their level 4s and exit with them. This card is absolutely beyond insane. I can't wait for this card to come out. It is awesome. But, yep, that's about it. Thank you all for watching. I don't have any replays for it because the only testing I've been able to do is on Yugioh Pro, but this deck is awesome. I really love it. But yep, that's about it. Thank you all for watching, and remember, Master Interflax will take your soul.